Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel, and if you're new, my name is Mikaela. I'm a freshman at the University of Miami, and I just finished my first semester there, and I kind of want to just give a little reflection on how the semester went, because I know at first it can seem like everyone's having the best time of their life when you look on social media especially, but for a lot of us, the first semester can be kind of difficult at first, and it does take some time to get to a point where you're like, feeling really comfortable and confident with where you are. For me especially, that was really difficult because I went out of state for college, and that was like a big change for me. I had been away from home before for a few weeks, but a whole semester was going to be very different. I did come home at points during the semester, but it was still like a very difficult change. I just want to start by saying I'm kind of breaking this into several categories because it's kind of easier to talk about and break down if I go through like specific different things. So to start, I want to talk about dorm life. Dorm life kind of encompasses like the whole roommate, communal bathroom situation, which is what I had. Not everyone has that, but at Miami, there are 3 different freshman dorms, and there's one where people have suite style bathrooms where 4 people share one bathroom. I did not have that. I lived in a tower where it's like 35 girls sharing one bathroom, which I thought was going to be completely awful, honestly, going into it. I was super scared, and it still isn't great, but they do get cleaned every day by house staff. They're not totally dirty all the time. It's usually just like people's hair that's in there is like the grossest part. But also you live with a roommate in a double room. So it's basically one small dorm room, 2 beds, and then closet and 2 desks. 2 closets, 2 desks. But I thought this part was going to be really difficult because I don't have any siblings. I'm an only child, so I've never had to live really with another person. So I was kind of nervous about that because I've never had to share a room with someone. But I was really surprised to find that I really ended up liking my roommate. In the beginning, it was a little awkward though, I will say. The first few weeks were pretty difficult for me at this school, partially just due to like not feeling initially close with my roommate. It wasn't something like we had different personalities, it was just we were both slow, I guess, to like form a relationship. So yeah, that made it like a little difficult, but when we did like finally become closer and become good friends, it made my whole dorm situation so much better because I like feel comfortable being in my room at any time, whether she's there or not, and we can like talk when she's in the room and we talk about stuff that's going on in our lives. And it's been really great to have a roommate as great as her, so I've been really happy with that. And it's kind of unfortunate that that is not how roommate situation works out for everyone. I do have a couple friends who um, moved out of just because of issues with their roommates. So that is something to know, that the roommate situation is pretty important, and different schools do roommates differently. At some of my friends' schools, they did roommates completely randomly, but at my school, you did, well, you can honestly do it however you want. They had you fill out an online survey and you could choose a roommate that way. But the way I did it was I made a post in a Facebook group with like pictures of myself and like explaining a little about myself, and then people would like DM me on Instagram asking if I wanted to room. And I talked to like a fair amount of people, but I'm so bad at like texting and communication over DMs, especially because I never used Instagram DMs before then, and it was kind of hard to talk to that many people on there, and I wasn't really checking it that much. So I ended up just kind of, it was sort of like random. I did not have like much of a reason for choosing who I chose. I was just like, she seems nice, I guess. Like, I don't really know. And I was just kind of, I don't know, kind of scared of like what to do. But then over the summer, I started freaking out about it, and I was just like, what if we don't get along? I was so scared. But obviously, as I already told you, it turned out great in the end, so I was really happy about that. And building off the whole roommate thing, I want to next discuss social life. So for me, one of the hardest things coming to college was leaving all my old friends at home. I pretty much lean towards being more of an introvert, so having to completely start over in relationships was a little difficult for me. Of course, I like making new friends, but it was just the whole starting over thing was the hardest part. And like they do try their best to like help you bond with people on your floor and stuff like that during orientation. But I would say people you meet during orientation don't tend to be who you like stay friends with, just because a lot of times you don't even see them again after that or don't have that much in common with them in terms of like what you're doing in school, clubs you're in, and stuff after that. So you, or like where you guys even live. So it doesn't tend to be friendships that last. For me, my strongest friendships and like sense of community really came from the Hammond Scholarship Program, which is like my full tuition scholarship program, and the Foot Fellow Honors Program. And what I really liked about these is like with the Hammond Scholarship, we had like a little dinner and a little all day, half day orientation thing back during orientation week. And that really allowed us all to like bond as a group. I think there's only about like 30 of us, maybe. So having all of us like do these events together, it allowed us to get closer. And like my closest friends to this day, like most of them came, or a lot of them came from Hammond orientation, just like that scholarship program, which has been really good support system because you're with like a bunch of people who are really like-minded and motivated like you. So I really like that. And then with the Foot Fellow Honors Program, it works differently depending on what your major is. But in the business school, I have like 3 classes that are basically just for Foot Fellows, just for business Foot Fellows. One of them's like sort of only like half that way. But what I really like about the Foot Fellow thing is that since we have several, like 2 or 3 classes together every day, it makes you guys really bonded because you're seeing each other all the time and you form those class friendships, which coming from a high school that was relatively small, that's where most of my friends came from. It would start off as like a class friendship and then we became actual friends because you're seeing the same people every single day. And so it was nice that even though Miami's like a big school with like around 10,000 people, I was still able to have my own like small community out of that. And like the people I'm planning to room with next year were both like people in that program with me, and that's where like most of my close friends now came from. And then also with social life, I mean, I'm not going to talk a lot about this, but I know like people talk about Miami being a party school, and I would just say that was something I was kind of worried about when I came here because I mean, that's not my thing really, but what I learned is that you can definitely make it as much or as little of a party school as you want. For people who are really looking to go all out with that, I mean, they can definitely find their group of people and do that. That's another reason why I really like the program that I'm in because it's like a bunch of people who really care about balance, and that's been a major priority of mine. And it wasn't like hard to find people similar to that, which is something I really liked. I mean, it was okay, well, it was kind of hard in the beginning. I think just the first half of the semester was just really difficult in terms of like you don't feel as the level of closeness to like people you're meeting in college as you do with like high school friends you've been with for years. So it was like hard to get to that point. But by the second half of the semester, like I definitely did find my group of people, and that's something that I've been really happy about. And then the next thing I want to talk about is, of course, academics. I don't know why I went in this order, but that's what's going on right now. I would say like academics were another thing that I just like wondered about before I came here because that's something that's hard to get a good gauge of just from like online rankings and stuff like that, because the people who do those kinds of things are not sitting in the classroom and the only accurate depiction you really get is from students actually at the school. And I had heard that like the Miami classes can be kind of hard, but like really rewarding. And that's something that I liked because I did feel like at my high school, even though I loved it, it was very challenging and oftentimes felt like I had no chance of doing well in certain classes. And here so far, I felt like all my work has been challenging but manageable, which is something that I really valued because I always felt like I had the chance to do well in my classes. And like I ended up with all A's in the end, and it's not like it was easy to get there. I definitely had to work hard, and I did not know that I was going to end up with all A's by the end. I had some classes that I wasn't totally sure about, that it really was coming down to like the last couple assignments, but I do really like my classes. Oh, I should probably name them. Okay, let me see if I can remember. So I took 3 business courses and then 2 like humanities courses. My business courses were economics, micro and macro combined into one semester class, business and society, which is like a 12-person discussion style course, which I really liked because it also reminded me of my high school English classes. So it was like very intimate sort of setting, like you talk to your professor a lot and like you talk to the other kids in your class a lot, which was good. And then third business class was management in the global environment, managing success in the global environment. Fourth was history 101. That was like a non-business course, and I actually didn't even need to take this class. I thought I did, but by the time I figured out I didn't, all the other classes I needed to actually take were full. And then the last class was Chinese 203, which was advanced Chinese. So yeah, those were my 5 classes. My favorite was probably business and society, the 12-person class, just because, like I said, it kind of reminded me of my high school setting, and like I liked knowing the other people in my class and like talking to them. But I think all my classes were pretty good. I mean, history was like, I'm not a big fan of history, but even that was fine. And for me, since I'm in the honors program, I'm actually exempt from pretty much all the general education requirements, except I have to do, like for the business school, I have to do up through Calculus 2. And I already had AP credit that got me through Calculus 1, but I have to do Calculus 2 next semester. And I have to do an English class next semester, but that'll be like my last one. And I had to do, for the business school, 1 humanities course and 1 international course, but Chinese counted as my international course, so that's why I did history as my humanity course. But I'm doing Chinese again next semester, so that could have actually counted as my humanities course, but I didn't figure that out in time. Basically, academics were really good this semester. I've been really happy with how it is. Like, the business school especially is like very strong in that department, and I've been super happy about it. And like, we have academic advisors, and he's already made me like a whole like 4-year chart of basically every single class I'm going to take every semester based on the majors and minors that I want to get, which is super helpful because I mean, a lot of people in the other schools are having to like make their own, but like he's made one for us. And like whenever you tell him something new that you want to change, like if you want to add a major, add a minor, he automatically goes in and like updates it with like a different set of classes and sends it to you again, which is super helpful. And I'm already like planning to do a semester abroad junior year. So my academic advisor has been great too. And then moving from academics, the last like main category I want to talk about is like extracurriculars. So as a first semester freshman, like it's understandable to not really be in like clubs completely, or like maybe just like browsing because obviously you have time. But I did want to try and get involved in some stuff from the get-go so that I wasn't waiting until sophomore year to try and like start, I guess you could say, because if you start trying then and then you realize you don't like that stuff, then you're like really pushing back your timeline of like when to get involved. And like a lot of the clubs I was like looking at, they all had like application processes and then an interview, and that was something. So I ended up applying to a lot of things because I didn't know if I'd get any of them. And actually I got like 4 rejections before I got accepted from anything, which was, it was kind of funny because the things I got accepted to were like the things I was most passionate about. So I was really happy about that. And so what I'm involved in, my first thing is Delta Sigma Pi. It's a business fraternity. And I basically spent the first semester like pledging. It was super easy. I don't know how it is at like other schools, but it was like basically weekly quizzes. Was not bad. And there's only like 20 something of us pledges, I think. So it was like we all got to know each other over the course of the semester, and 2 of my close friends actually from the Foot Fellow business program were also pledging. So we all, like 3 of us, hung out a lot, in addition to one of my friends who's from the Hammond Scholarship was also in it. So then there's the 4 of us, which was really great. Yeah, we had a little formal at the end of the semester, and I like that. And then we have another one at the very end of the school year. So looking forward to it. And then the other club I'm really involved in is called Tamid. And Tamid is it's a national organization because this program takes place, or this club takes place at college campuses all around the country. I can't remember how many chapters there are, but it's a lot. And basically, we do pro bono consulting for startups in Israel. And there's like two sides, consulting and fund. So fund's like more finance-based stuff. And then consulting, like we're the ones like working on consulting projects. And I thought it was a really cool experience. There's only 3 freshmen in it, and this was something where you had to like fill out an application, then we had to do a case study event and then an interview for it. So it was like kind of a lot to do, which I did not think I was going to be accepted because everyone seemed like geniuses in it. But I did get accepted, and it's been a really great experience and very interesting. So I'm looking forward to next semester for sure. I'm kind of hoping to see if I can find a couple other freshmen to get involved. That'd be great. And so this is a place where I got to meet a lot of upperclassmen, which was cool because I wouldn't have gotten to do that otherwise. And through this and Delta Sigma Pi, the business fraternity, which was really cool. And like I got to hear about like their internship experiences, like what they struggled with freshman year. And so those are the 2 that I've been like really involved in. And then there's like a few other clubs that I've like done stuff with. So like quickly I'll go through them. Like one was American Marketing Association. And this is a club where we meet like once a week, and we would work on either like this marketing case study over the course of the semester, or have like guest speakers who would talk about like starting their businesses, or who would come and talk about how like their marketing company, like for one, we had reps from Nielsen come and talk to us, and they talked to us about like their internship program, and it actually sounds really cool. So I think I might try and apply for that when I'm a junior. They had like a little internship panel thing where the upperclassmen in AMA, American Marketing Association, would answer questions about their internship experience, which I thought was really interesting. And then the next one would be the Victoria's Secret Pink campus team. This is a really cool experience that is actually comes straight from Victoria's Secret Pink themselves. They have this program where they select 2 campus reps at schools from all across the country, and they lead like a team of people to put on different events, try and promote the pink brand on campus, and do like marketing and advertising initiatives. And so I applied for the campus team, which means I applied directly to our campus reps, which was a junior and a senior girl. And I thought it was really fun, and like one of my best friends had also applied, and she got it too, so we did it together. And if you have this at your college, I would recommend, or if you don't know, I'd recommend looking it up and trying it out, especially if you want to get some like marketing experience. It would be really cool to be an actual campus rep, especially because you're doing a lot of communication with like actual people at Victoria's Secret Pink headquarters. So that would be a really good like hands-on experience. And the last thing is Inspire You. That has been my like community service organization that I've been involved in. Basically, we're paired with a mentee at a local high school, and we're basically supposed to mentor them throughout the semester at like different meetings that we have with them. For me, it was like a little bit rough because my first mentee actually ended up leaving the program, and then I got a new one, but she missed like the first meeting or missed one of the meetings. And so I didn't really get a chance to become very close with my mentee. So I'm hoping that like next semester I can get to know her more. But I thought that that was really cool. And getting involved in like a service organization is really good on top of like maybe more academic ones, because it's a different type of rewarding experience. And I think that's something everyone should try. That is it for like my main like big categories. And I did want to kind of just give like an overall recap of how I felt about the semester. I've obviously talked about it over the course of this video, but the first half of the semester was pretty rough for me just because leaving home, that transition was pretty hard, like not having any kind of familiarity. It's different because I actually lived in China for 6 weeks with like new people from all across the country, and for some reason, like on that kind of trip, we bonded like this like pretty fast, maybe within days. But something is just a lot harder, I guess, with this kind of experience when you have so many options on who to talk to. I think like something with that, we only had each other, so like we all bonded a lot, but this like I don't know, people have a lot of different people to talk to, so it was less like I guess you could say you were focusing on like one individual person a lot less than you would in maybe like a smaller cohort thing like that, which is what made this feel so difficult because you would only spend like a small amount of time with someone and then you'd go spend time with someone else and then a little time with someone else, and it was like hard to form a deep relationship with people, and like deep relationships are what I tend to value most. And then I honestly thought that I was just not liking the school, that maybe the school was the problem, and I was even thinking about transferring for a good period. I was already like trying to plan out other schools I should have transferred to. I was regretting my college decision, thinking I should have gone to like Georgia Tech and stayed at home. But something that I realized, especially from like talking to people from my high school, like old friends, was that everyone was going through this. I guess maybe not every single person, but like a lot of people who are going out of state were experiencing the exact same thing. It is so hard to like leave everything you know, but it was really good hearing that other people felt this way too, so I didn't feel like it must have just been a me thing, or it must have just been that it was me going to Miami kind of thing. Even people who were feeling like they went to the right school were having the same issue. So I think that was something that really helped, was like talking to other people about it. And like obviously schools have like counseling services, or if you have like an RA on your floor, we had an RA and a first year fellow, talking to them could be really helpful. But I mean, I personally am the type of person I'd rather talk to people that I already feel really close to. And so talking to people who I was like good friends with from back home was actually helping me, I would say, like progress through the semester. And in like one of my clubs to meet, there was a girl who talked about how actually when she was a freshman, she literally started her transfer applications. And then she got to second semester and joined to Mead, and it like changed her mind completely because she found people who were really similar to her. And what she said made me think more about like trying to like become closer with the people I was forming friendships with here at Miami, and that definitely did change my perspective on how I felt, and it's made me a lot happier, and I had like a really great time this semester. I'm really excited for next semester. I'm already looking forward to next year completely, because we will have a new housing village being built at Miami and I really want to live in it. It's so expensive though, so we'll see about that. But like I said, I already have like my roommates planned mostly. So yeah, I just wanted to kind of give you guys that review. I know I probably left like tons of things out that you might be interested in knowing about. So if you do have any more questions, leave a comment below so that I can answer them. And especially like if you have like specific questions that I did not address, definitely leave a comment below and I will try to respond. But yeah, thanks for watching. If you like this video and want to see more, like and subscribe, and see you next time.